Hi. Okay. Hi. I'm Kathy Zaleski with, this is always the hard part, with Realty One Group Peak in Bozeman, Montana.
And I'm Kaila Henry, also at Realty One Group Peak in Bozeman.
Okay, awesome. So this video we decided would be pretty cool and very pertinent to the market right now, certainly here in Bozeman, maybe all over the country.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so. So what we want to talk about today are home sale contingencies. What that means, we're going to try and kind of keep it simple and explain the general terms, and what if you're in that situation, whether your home is for sale or should be soon, or whether you're buying and need to have a home sale contingency, or if you're a seller and you're looking at offers. And I would say, now they say like 95% of statistics are made up. So I would say 85% of the sales that we're going to see in the Bozeman market in the next 18 months are going to be home sale contingency offers. So I think it's really important to kind of go through this. It's not just a first-time home buyer thing, but if you bought or sold in the market in the last 5 years, you likely have not utilized this or heard of it. And
and it wouldn't be a first-time home buyer thing because they don't have a home to sell.
She's so
right?
Okay.
So it would be your second home sale, or maybe something subsequent when you have. So let's just say home sale contingency is when you have a home that you have to sell before you can purchase your next home.
Right. You have to sell your home to be able to buy a new one.
Okay. And whether that is because you need the money from the proceeds of the sale of your home for a down payment, or whether maybe you won't qualify with your income to support 2 mortgages at once. There can be a couple different structures as to why that may or may not work for you.
Right.
But regardless, you either have to sell this property before you can move on to your next purchase.
Right. So contingency means that your offer is contingent upon the home selling. There are several phases to a home sale, which you might be familiar with, but there is, of course, getting your home on the market, right? That means it is for sale. You've got your sign in the ground. There is getting an offer on that home. That's great, but your home still has to sell. You have an offer, but inside of that offer are other contingencies on your home that you have to pass, or the hoops you have to jump through. So that's another phase. And once you're through that phase, it's just waiting for it to close. So, kind of.
So there's a lot of different structures is kind of how I like to think of it, or a lot of different sales. So to me, not all home sale contingencies are structured the same. And I will say, Kathy, I would maybe say you have said, since you've worked in multiple different markets, I don't think the Montana forms do a very great job of laying out these options. And so then you are left with your realtor crafting those options. And so again, just being really mindful that your realtor is making sure that you are protected, but also putting an offer in that you can that is maybe acceptable, right? So there's kind of 2 different things that you're balancing here. You of course need to protect yourself while you're working with this, both buyers and sellers. And you obviously still need to have an offer that is something somebody would accept, right? Because a home sale contingency is asking, from a buyer's perspective, you are asking a lot of a seller to work with you on a home sale contingency, depending on where you're at in that process and how it's structured.
Right.
So I think first and foremost, maybe let's just kind of dive into what would be your A+ rating for a home sale contingent offer, Kathy?
Okay.
From, let's, again, right? So you're going to write an offer to a seller.
Okay. So therefore, I'm working with the buyer.
Yeah.
So if I'm working with the buyer, number one, ideally, your home is on the market, meaning
it's been prepped.
Right.
We have photos taken. You have a price.
Right. As Kaila and I discussed, the most important part of selling your home is the prep work that goes into it. And that can't be taken lightly. So if I'm working with a buyer and I'm writing an offer for them, and we know that they have to sell their home to buy, I will have told them, hey, before we even go look at something, before we even go out there and you fall in love with something, I need you to start packing, because we're going to have to sell your home to buy. You need to start prepping your home for sale before we start looking at other properties, really. So number one, home would be on the market. An A+ offer that I would write, they'd also have an offer on their home, right? So not only are they on the market, but they've got somebody that's agreed to buy their home. Even more ideal would be if we're all the way through the inspection period, maybe also have the appraisal done. So that home sale of theirs the contingency part is nearly done. 85% done.
A lot of the hoops and I's and those have been met and passed.
Right.
Meaning we're really just waiting for financing to come through or maybe just the closing date to come on again, depending on the structure of that offer.
Right. So that would be ideal. Home is not on the market, under contract, through inspections, hopefully through appraisal, and we're just waiting to close.
And now you might say that would maybe put your buyers in a precarious option because maybe they won't have a place to live. And yes, that can certainly be part of it. But again, hopefully we're able to, and not hopefully, we are with communication to either push that closing date out some because maybe for that buyer of their home, it doesn't matter. So we can do that. Or maybe your clients have a mother-in-law or a sibling that they can move into for a small interim
Camper,
period.
Fifth wheel.
Yeah. I mean, but again,
go on vacation.
Yep.
For a month.
Those are all the things that we are juggling with these home sale contingencies. And so again, sometimes you can't always get that A+1, but that to me would be the best possible outcome, or I would say best possible presentation of a home sale contingent offer, both for the buyers because they feel very confident in their home selling, and for sellers accepting that, knowing that this is very much well through
almost
a lot of the
deal.
hurdles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so then moving on, let's say maybe taking it down a tier to maybe like a B-ish, and we're just kind of making these up. This isn't actual any real terms. But, a B1 would be to me where, I'm working with the buyers and we have their home on the market. So again, their home has been prepped. We have photos, we have a purchase price, or we have a listing price that we've put out there, and we are currently and actively marketing your property.
Right. So in terms of if I were representing the seller and you were bringing the offer to me for your buyers that want to write their offer on my seller's home with a home sale contingency, number one, I can look at the property, see is this a dog?
See how it's presented. How am I marketing it?
Right. How long has it been on the market? Has it been on the market 24 hours or has it been on the market 24 days? Like, is it priced what it should be priced to actually get sold quickly? Because my seller wants that to happen. Because again,
it has to happen.
Right. As we just described, getting under contract is a first step of many that might sabotage that potential offer. So the further we are along, the better. It's great to have great pricing. It's great if it just hit the market. It's great if, that it hasn't been sitting there a long time. But we still have a long way to go. So that's why I say, hey, that's a B.
And to me, workable, right? Under let's say all of those criteria are met, that yes, it's presented well. Yes, it seems priced well. Yes, the seller, my buyers are motivated. And then sometimes even having a conversation being like, well, this is our, starting price, but they really only need to net X amount so that you know that, well, if we get even, let's say, a somewhat lower offer, we could probably still work with it because it's enough to purchase the next home.
Right.
So again, can be just a lot of moving pieces. And again, just making sure that, your realtor, work with us, is structuring those things in there and making sure that you as the buyer are protected, aka you're not on the hook for purchasing a home that you can't, or you as the seller, you're not stuck in a contract where the buyer can't perform in a timely manner, because that can really hold you up as well.
Right. So worst case scenario, Kaila, you're working with some buyers.
You say worst case scenario, but we absolutely see these, I would say, at least 50% of the time.
Right. But it's not
this is
ideal.
Not uncommon. Not ideal at all. But I think, again,
we had an offer brought like this 3 weeks ago on a listing I have. So, okay.
And I mean, to me, so again, this is not ideal at all by all means, but again, so many people just don't fully think through these. So maybe don't have an understanding, or their agent's not doing a good job of informing and coaching them and helping them understand. So, you get an offer that just says the home's, this purchase is contingent on the sale of the buyer's home. Nothing else.
And then you go to your MLS and you look up the address that they put in. Hopefully
or you
they
don't
put in
even get an address.
Right. Okay. And then whoa, that home's not on the MLS. What's the plan to get it sold? Are you sending smoke signals telepathically?
Yeah.
What's happening? So that would be if I were representing my sellers and I got an offer like that, I would say, hey, this offer is a D. Like, it is not an A plus. We are not 75% way through the process. They haven't even started their process yet.
And we have no idea to know how capable or what their plan is or anything along those lines. And well, as a listing agent or a seller's agent, you can't control those things by any means. You absolutely, if you're taking a contract that is contingent on that, you do get some of the information, right? So that is information that we want as listing agents to be able to help our sellers understand how sure of a done deal is this, you know?
So, and I think that's why the A plus offer, like all of that information is basically public. Like, where is the home? What condition is the home in? How many days has it been on market? All of that is now easily accessible to me. When the home isn't on the market, I have no idea if what their yard looks like, even like let alone what the interior of the home looks like. Maybe they're raising chickens inside, or they've flooded their basement and they have a fish farm. I don't know.
Or
but that would be a big deal to clean up.
Or they haven't even decluttered. I mean, that is a big deal right now, how your home is presenting.
Yes.
And it sounds small. I know, declutter. It really matters.
No, and honestly, you're absolutely right. In this market, the way we are right now, again, we'll go back to prep your home for sale. Because in this market, people they're not willing to wade through your crap. It is too expensive. They are borrowing hundreds of thousands of dollars at what is currently a relatively high interest rate compared to 5 years ago. And so they don't need to do it. They will wait. They will wait another month. They will wait another 2 months unless that home looks ready for them to move into. So,
and the other piece too is they're going to go into maybe 5 to 10 other homes who maybe have done the work. And those 5 to 10 other homes the value is going to be so much more apparent there. Maybe your home does have the same value, but they can't see it because you have too much stuff. So again, just so there's a little mini prep your home for sale diatribe.
But I mean, we are talking about, a home sale contingency. Generally, that is what is used, a term or an approach used by a buyer to potentially buy something that they can't do without selling their home. So again, yes, prepping your home for sale is important.
And I would say that's our message to buyers through this video, is if you know that you are maybe wanting to make a move in the next even 6 months to a year, talk to a realtor, start to get pricing on a home, and start to prep your home for sale, because you don't want to have to start that process when you find your dream home. It's just very unlikely that all the cards will fall into place where they need to get that done for you. So if this is something you know or think you might want to utilize, start talking to people early and really planning ahead. Plan for success.
Right. It's interesting, and I don't want to get too far off track, but because there's also the seller side to this. Like, is it worth it to accept an offer that is where it has a home sale contingency? But what I wanted to say was just that not only in this market is it really important to be prepared on both sides, but it also is really important that you are aware that what the seller is potentially asking, or what's important to the seller. So I'm sure you do this as an agent. If I'm potentially writing an offer for a buyer that would have a home sale contingency, I would ask the listing agent, hey, what's most important? What's the timing like? Are they in a hurry to get out of there? Do they have another home that they're buying? Because sometimes when you're coming with the home sale contingency, it's advantageous to the seller because they have a little bit more time to get out, or they have a little bit more time to prep their home for, well, not necessarily, but a little bit more
pack
time
and leave, or spend the
find
summer,
a home for themselves,
or spend the summer in their family home, right? That they're, it's one last goodbye, and then they're moving into a smaller condo. Family can come visit, right? So always being open to having those conversations.
Yeah, and please understand that every single one of these situations, every offer that I have written or received in 20 plus years, and every offer that Kaila's received in her career is unique. So,
because every situation is unique.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that's why talking is so important. Talking through these things.
Yeah. But we do want you to understand as a consumer, what that means to you as a consumer here in Montana, whether you're a seller or buyer. So from the seller perspective, we kind of talked about what the best possible offer is. So if you give me a scenario, Kaila, you're writing an offer, you're representing some buyers, what kind of offer are you bringing to me as a list agent?
I mean, most likely with the home sale contingency, we're going to be at or very close to your list price.
Excellent.
Because we are asking a lot of you to give us what is most likely going to be a much more extended closing timeline.
Right.
So that to me is a big ask. So close to that. And then I am going to be giving you, hopefully, this is the listing. So this is where their home is at, and the amount of showings that I've had, the amount of open houses I've done, the activity we have. Hey, I have 2 people circling, but they're just not hesitant to pull the trigger. I'm going to give her all of that information and the feedback that we've gotten on the home. And I'm also going to put in probably a release date. So probably that if we, as my buyers, don't have our home under contract within, I usually do about 30 days, then you as the sellers,
we're released
to release and move on.
Earnest money goes back to the buyers, and we're just back on. So, okay. So as a seller's agent, as a list agent, I'm going to say, hey, Kaila, what's the inspection? Or I'm going to look at her offer, but I'll talk with her about it. What's your inspection period? Are you going to do your inspections right away or not?
Yeah. And so this one's a tough one, I think, for buyers. So usually, again, 2-week inspection period is usually what we're doing. And I do think that unless, again, there's some extenuating circumstances, that is what buyers are probably going to be on the hook for, monetarily wise. So to me, you're still going to get a home inspection within 2 weeks, and you might be out of pocket, let's say, currently, again, these things can change, but $500 to $1,500 depending on the home inspections you're doing. But that way the seller knows that you are serious about buying this home. You will have some skin in the game to get your home under contract and start moving this process forward. If you do any sort of longer one, I know often we'll see home sale contingencies where the buyers don't want to do a home inspection until their home is under contract. And I totally understand that. However, then from the seller's standpoint,
right. No, then I'm like, they have no skin in the game. What I might say as a list agent, then, if Kaila brought an offer to me and said, hey, we don't, wrote specifically into the offer, we don't want to do our inspection until our home is under contract.
We have 10 days from your home going under contract to do our inspections.
Number one, so there's a couple different things that are a little bit unique to Montana in that, Kaila, there's nothing that says that she has to provide me with that information. I would probably push back and say, let's write something that says you have to provide me with the information within 24 hours of when your home goes under contract so that we can start that clock on the inspections. The other thing that I might say is, hey, you know what? Don't worry about the inspection, but we want the earnest money to go hard today. And by that, sorry, realtor lingo, but what that means is, like, let's say it was a $500,000 house. Your buyers are it says in the offer to purchase that they're going to offer $500,000 and they're going to put $5,000 down in earnest money. What I would say is that earnest money belongs to my sellers as of day one. We accepted their offer. We'll wait on their timeline for their home together to go under contract, but we're taking your $5,000 today. It doesn't benefit you in any way. It's just, we get it.
Yeah.
But that is assurance to my sellers that says, hey, if these people walk away or they can't sell their house, we didn't waste time.
And I think that's the thing.
We got compensated for our time.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, and I think that is the thing that a lot of buyers can fail to recognize is truly how important timing is for sellers. Because sellers have done all of that work to get their home ready. They are so ready to just move on from this place now because, again, it is a lot of work to get there. And so then when they get an offer, they're ready to move forward and just be done with it. And so while 30 to 60 days maybe doesn't sound like that big a deal, and it's just a month or two, from a seller's perspective, it really is a long time for them to be waiting around, not sure whether they can or can't move on. And it can potentially be some prime market time in Bozeman because our market can be so seasonally affected. And so I think, again, just depending on the timing, but even in the winter, to me, who knows what buyers may be trying to close beforehand, taking your home off the market or at least having it under contract truly does change it for sellers.
Exactly. So there are some also things about the home sale contingency that when a buyer asks a seller to accept a home sale contingency, the seller is effectively taking their home off the market then. Mm-hmm. So if that's before inspection, right? That's before anything. That's just giving another 30 or 60 days where, again, like Kaila said, there are some really hot times here in Bozeman. Like, it's almost May and graduation weekend at MSU is a huge busy weekend.
Yeah.
There are buyers in town then. Shaq was just in town. Did you see
I
that?
did see that.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe he meant to call us, I'm
Yeah.
sure. So, but like there are certain times, couple weeks of the year around, president holidays and things like that where more can happen. So if we're off the market during that time, if I'm representing the seller, that could be really integral. That might put us behind another 2 months.
Yeah.
If your home doesn't sell and we have so that
time
$5,000
matters.
Yeah, that if I say let's make the earnest money hard, that is only compensation for our time off market. So that would be something that I might utilize.
And I think the whole point of this, I might be hard to track all of the nits and pieces we're throwing out there, but just knowing that there truly is so many different, levers that we're pulling when we're making an offer with a home sale contingency. So there's a lot of moving pieces that you're working with, and it really is, to me, finding what works for both the seller and the buyer and truly being negotiable. I mean, that's true of all deals with or without a home sale contingency. We have to work together to get these things closed.
Well, and having agents that don't
understand that as well.
Don't put themselves and their priorities in the transaction, and instead represent and work buyer and sellers what they're willing to do.
Because I mean, from my standpoint, to me, I would never want my clients to lose $5,000 over a home sale contingency, but I would expect for them to do. I saw that. I would expect for them to do inspections, right? So those are the things that you're toggling. And again, to me, these are always advice, right? So to me, I'm always going to tell my clients, but if my clients are like, this is my dream home, and if this is what they want, we will do that. Great.
Right.
Let's do it.
So the one thing in Montana contracts allow us to, like it or not,
Wordsmith.
Yeah, act a little bit as attorneys, which
we are
neither
not.
one of us like, and we are not attorneys. However, when it comes to something like that, like let's say if you gave us the $5,000 earnest money, we will take the home. We will not further market it. Yeah. So in Montana, at any point in time, the seller might consider another offer and then give the buyers a certain amount of time that would be predetermined to either perform or walk away. So that means...
And that is only if you do the home sale contingency addendum.
Right.
Which is not required, but certainly a document that could be a part of the transaction. Again, very complicated.
But you want your agent to have a full, especially if you're a buyer that's using a home sale contingency to purchase their next home. You want your agent to have a full grip of how many different ways this can be structured, and what structure might work best for you and your family, your timing, everything. And as a list agent, same thing. I need to have a full awareness of what the buyer's agent is trying to get out of my seller. And how that looks.
And how on the hook, to me, like how long are your sellers on the hook to be potentially stuck with these buyers?
Yeah.
So it can be very complicated. And
I always say, if we get multiple offers, which has happened on my last 2 listings, which kind of odd that we're back in that game
I'm
again.
in a multiple offer situation right now, hoping to hear that my clients got it.
Yeah. So, but I think that when I lay out the offers in front of my sellers, I say, okay, what we need to do is look at which one of these is most likely to perform. Not necessarily the highest dollar amount, the highest purchase price, but who's willing to put the most skin in the game because they're the most committed, whose home is the furthest down the line, whose home is, nearly closed or closes in 5 days. That would be ideal, right? Where we're not taking as much risk. From a listing agent perspective, that's the way I look at it. And from a buyer's agent, you're trying to put the offer that is most
tolerable,
right, to the seller, and
but
show your ability to perform,
but still protects your buyers.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very fine balance.
Yeah.
And I would say, again, in a multiple offer situation, sometimes, I've often told my clients, like, well, these guys have a home sale contingency, and yes, they're, $5,000 over your ask. These guys are $5,000 below, but they don't have a home sale contingency.
Yeah.
They're putting 40% down. I mean, to me, I would take the one that I feel most confident about because it'll be less stress and the smoothest sailing. And we belittle money in this business all the time. But once you've done it as much as you've done it, you've seen $5,000, $10,000. It's sometimes really I would say not even sometimes. It's
Right.
often not worth it.
What's that 10 grand difference going to be to you when they don't even buy your house?
Yeah.
It will be zero. And you will wish that you had taken the offer for 5,000 less and be on your way to your new home in Florida or wherever you're going. But if you don't, you have to look at it, what is the best, who has the best ability to perform?
Yes. Contingencies and timelines really matter. That's why to me an offer is so fun to write, is because it's not just about money. There's a lot of other moving pieces to it. And again, in a multiple offer situation, truly being able to weigh out what are the differences between these offers, because I think on the surface they could appear the same, but having somebody who has a firm grasp on our contracts and the market and everything along those lines can really make or break a deal for you.
Well, and an agent that's not going to just take the contract at its surface value, but call the buyer's agent or the agent that wrote the offer back and say, what do you mean by this? Where is this house? How long until you get it on the market? Because they don't necessarily have to write that into the contract. They might be like, yeah, we'll get it on the contract in 30 days or on the market in 30 days. Well, so now we have to wait 30 days for you to get on the market and wait for you to sell it. Like, no way. So you really have to have an agent that is going to dig deep, because home sale contingencies have many, many layers. There's many, many steps to a home sale, as we've discussed.
Well, and to me, now you're not only worried about the home inspection on your home, you now have to worry about the home inspection on a second home.
God
right?
forbid that those people are selling a home too.
Oh, that's happening in our office right now. I don't know how she's doing it.
There can be many, many layers and many, many different people involved. So hopefully this video didn't just make things clear as mud.
Yeah.
Please, as always, feel free to write questions in the comments and we'll definitely get back to you, or reach out to us.
Or
directly.
If you want to have a conversation, because a lot of these things are truly just what's your situation. Please don't hesitate just to ask us questions.
And we absolutely are not saying that being a buyer and writing an offer with a home sale contingency doesn't doom you.
No.
Okay. It is okay. And you, again, made up or not, probably 85% of your competition, the other buyers out there right now, are doing the same thing. It's about how you structure it and your preparedness, preparing your home.
Prepare your home.
But yeah, I think please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Every situation is unique and different, and there's always going to be a way to manage it that everybody might not be doing a dance at the end of the day, but everybody should get what they want, right? Like the buyers should be able to move into the new house on a timeline that's okay with the seller. And those would be our goals. So again,
we don't mean to be negative. And again, these certainly work, right? We can absolutely close properties with home sale contingencies.
Absolutely.
And something we all need to be pretty comfortable with. Again, sellers, wrap your mind around the fact that this will be part of the contracts that you're seeing potentially. And just know that, again, so long as we have a full idea and a full packet of information, they might be worth working with.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. So thanks again for watching our video. Please subscribe and like our channels. Don't hesitate to reach out. We know this is kind of a muddy issue, but you're not alone. And we're going to see more and more of this in the marketplace in the days and months ahead for sure. So we appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.